This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by former world champion Keith Thurman here in Las Vegas. Keith, we're here for a Manny Pacquiao fight, but when you're in town, we know it's a big fight. How are you feeling? You seem like you're in very good form.
I'm good, man. Just a lot of hype, a lot of talk. We just had a live little skedaddle there with Charlo and everything. He's got, he said I didn't get under his skin, but he seemed real sensitive, man. You're going to be able to watch all that on some reels. There's going to be a lot of highlights from this weekend, man. We got great fights now, and hopefully we got some future great fights coming with all this trash talking and me calling out the world once again, man, trying to establish myself and the beautiful sport of boxing, man. But, yeah, man, Manny Pacquiao, Mario Barrios, it's just been a number of years since I've been in the ring with both of these men. Pacquiao in 2019, Mario Barrios in, well, I believe it was 2022, and both here in Las Vegas. Manny Pacquiao was actually here in the MGM Arena. So, I like this fight. I know Manny Pacquiao is a craftsman. He's a veteran, and I think he thinks some vulnerability with Barrios. Barrios was knocked down. He knocked his opponent down in his last fight. I rocked him on several occasions. He doesn't have a picture-perfect defense. He's got some holes in there like Swiss cheese, and I think Pacquiao is going to try to exploit those holes come fight night tomorrow night. But the world really wants to know. They want to know what Keith Thurman has after his layoff, after his surgeries. They want to know at 46, is Pacquiao still fast? Is he still dangerous? Can he still beat current champions like Mario Barrios? There's a lot of questions, but the answers will be coming tomorrow night.
What do you expect to see? Do you see Manny Pacquiao rolling back the years and upsetting the world, shocking the world, and defeating Mario Barrios at 46 years of age?
I lean a little bit towards Barrios. I'm almost like a pendulum. In my mind, I start swinging back and forth, because I know the craftiness of Pacquiao. I know the complex combination that he throws and his footwork. And I know the combinations I threw against Mario Barrios gave him problems. My footwork gave him problems. So all these can be keys to victory for Manny Pacquiao. But at 46 years old, does he still have the ability to beat current champions like a Mario Barrios? And with that answer just lingering in the wind, we always have the sayings, out with the old, in with the new. Is this that time in history where the old generation needs to hang it up? Or does he still have one or two more good rodeos and performances that he could put on for the sport and to showcase his skills and talent once again? He is the legendary Manny Pacquiao.
If he had two more rodeos left, I'm sure you'd like to be the one to entertain a second one if Pacquiao is successful tomorrow night.
Grudge match. Yeah. Get it.
That's something you want to get back.
I mean, right now I currently have stepped back in the ring at 154. I'm just ranked and trying to climb the ladder, establish myself at potentially a 154 champion, which would allow me to be a two-divisional champion. I have competed at 147 for the majority of my career. If the fight is right, if the money is right, I could potentially, and if there's a belt on the line, I could potentially go back down to 147. But that's the thing. I really don't know what the next step is going to be. We're going to let this weekend be what it is because there's still potential for me to take the winner of Fedor and Zoo. If Pacquiao wins, if I have options, it's going to be tough to weigh out those options. I'm going to have to sit with my team, and we're going to have to make a decision. Otherwise, there's tons of other talent out there that we can hopefully get in the ring with at the end of this year. Whoever's really ready to send the contract, because I fought once, I'm ready to fight twice. I wanted to fight this summer. I didn't get a summer fight, so I went on summer vacation. Now I'm here getting hyped up by the energy, the atmosphere, and I'll be right back in the gym when this is all said and done. Looking forward to what comes next.
Keith, you're entertaining, you're a good talker, you're an unbelievable fighter. Why do you think it is that despite this, say, period of inactivity, fighters are not calling your name now? Fighters are not trying to say, where's Keith Thurman? Why are we not entertaining the Keith Thurman fight?
I believe that it's easy to fight Keith Thurman when Keith Thurman has a belt, but to fight a dangerous fighter, and there's not that reward of status recognition on the other side, it's less enticing, There might be there might be a good steak on the table, right? But if it's not cooked to your preference, medium well, well done, medium rare, if it's not as enticing. You say, oh, no, you can have that, man. I'm going to order this other dish today, you know? And so they push me over the side, and they're taking other dishes, you know? It's really not the game's fault. It's not a lot of people's fault. I was supposed to be in the fight against Tim Tszyu last year. 2 weeks before the fight, I popped my bicep tendon. And then that made the world question, is Keith Thurman not healthy enough to get back in the ring? Hence, we had an opportunity to go to Australia and fight. We took that fight. We showed that we recovered, we're healthy, and I'm ready for bigger and better challenges, you know? I don't want to stay at that level because I've been at the top, you know? It's okay to get back in the game and just show the world, like, hey, I'm back. You see what we did? You see what we done? You know a Brock Jarvis should never be able to beat a Keith Thurman. But you guys had doubt because you're wondering what kind of Keith Thurman. The same way we have doubt about Manny Pacquiao. What kind of Manny Pacquiao? We don't live in a world of faith. We live in a world of doubt, especially in sports, especially with a lot of critics, you know. The critics are going to remain critics. The haters are going to remain haters. But I know what I bring to the table. I bring skills, poise, charisma, and I've never been an easy fight since I was an amateur. Never have been, never will be. Nobody has said throughout their career, oh yeah, I use Keith Thurman as a stepping stone. Oh yeah, me too. Oh, me. You can't line up the fighters that are stepping over Keith Thurman. And I think that's one reason why I've been avoided, is because no matter how confident people are in their teams, deep down on some level they know that it's a challenging fight.
Keith, talk to me about your interactions there with Mel. Where did that come from? Do you believe he wants to fight you?
No, he doesn't want to fight me. He said, I'm a nobody. I'm an ex-world champion who's a nobody. I've done nothing in the division. He's the king. He wants me to bow at his feet and roll out the red carpet. You know, he's just big ego, man, big ego. You know, at the end of the day, I like great fights, you know? He's telling me that I'm not a great fight. I don't know. You know, I really don't understand boxing and boxers. I think this life is short. I think we're all living a dream. I think we're all successful already, you know? We have love, admiration. We've won some, we've lost some. We've all done great things in boxing. So let's just make great fights. So I don't really understand where he's coming from with his feelings and his emotions, but I'm not in his shoes, you know? All I can be is be me. I stirred the pot. I had fun while doing it.
Who else would you say then is at the top of your list for your comeback, for getting back into that mix? Who's the number one name for you that you would really like to share the ring with? You know,
I'm really at that stage where it's not what I want. It's who's really gonna who's gonna come get it? Who's gonna use Keith Thurman to make a statement? Who's that guy? Who's gonna sign the contract? Are they at 147? Are they at 54? Is it the winner of Fundora Zoo?
Would you entertain?
Does Thurman get to fight a Ryan Garcia? Do they want Thurman and Devin Haney? The welterweight division is weak. Rolly's got the belt now. Rolly beat Ryan. I would beat Rolly. I would beat Rolly easy. I'll beat Mario Barrios. Oh wait, I already beat him. So I don't know. I made a statement over there. Everybody's fighting everybody else, leaving Keith Thurman on the shelf. Everybody's running around fighting everybody else, leaving Keith Thurman on the shelf. So, yeah, man, it's boxing. It's negotiations. There's a lot of fighters to fight in the world, but when you're looking into a fight, like my projection could easily be November, right? Nothing's in the making right now. Easily, it could be a November date. I'm saying it with confidence. I'll take it. So if anybody wants to propose something, and this is November, it could be anybody on this side. It could be Conor Benn. It could be anybody. I just told them. It's Thurman versus the world, from 147 to 154. To Jake Paul, to the heavyweights. Boxing is so different now. We're doing celebrity boxing. Look at Bud Crawford versus Canelo is the first celebrity boxing match with real boxers in it. You see what I'm saying? That's how I feel. So we're skipping weight classes, we're hopping over things to make big fights, entertainment fights. So whoever wants a big fight against Thurman, say it loud, say it proud, send the contract, and I'll sign it.
My last one, Keith, you mentioned Crawford. Obviously, you was there when he beat Errol Spence. You called him out. If, no matter what happens against Canelo, if, say, he was to come back to, say, 160, even 154,
I DM'd
fight
him.
you'd want him, you
Before
DM'd
you
him?
finish,
Oh,
I
what did you
DM'd
say?
Crawford. I DM'd him. I said, if something happens and Canelo has to pull out, injuries happen, just pick up the phone call. I'll be right there.
What did he say?
Oh, he said LOL and some emoji, and he said, oh, and then he said, I'm good. He said, we good, He's got the big fight. He's got the big check coming, man. Really, even just getting off the phone with Charlo, At the end of the day, we all grew up in the amateurs. He's talking about watching me get dropped by Charles Hatley when we were in the amateurs. It was one of the most exciting amateur fights you've ever seen. I dropped him once. I dropped him twice. He dropped me once. But he still won the fight because it was a point fight, and knockdowns don't give you the extra points, like in the pros back then. We were in just a touch point system, Olympic scoring back in for 07 for the 08 China Games, right? Yeah. And that was Colorado Springs, high altitude, right? So he didn't mention that, where we fought. We fought in Colorado Springs where I got dropped. And I ended up dropping him twice, but I lost the fight. So he's just trying to make a statement, trying to make me look bad and everything. But I know history. We were there. I've been in the amateurs with the Charlos. I was in the amateurs, with Danny Garcia, with Sean Porter, with Deontay Wilder. That was with Danny Jacobs, There's a lot of champions that you guys know. Gary Russell Jr. This is my whole Olympic class. My Olympic year. This is like, when I see these guys, when I see these faces, it's like a high school reunion, So I love that dude, man. I'm happy for him. I'm happy to see all my brethren from when we were kids, from when we used to fight for free. We used to fight for medals and trophies and to make our mommies and our daddies proud. I'm happy to see all these men be successful. But when he wants to say that a Thurman fight's not a real big fight, it's not a big, he said, I don't have a belt. I said, thank you for proving my point. They don't want to fight Thurman when there's no belt on the line, because Keith Thurman's not a stepping stone. If I'm easy work, then just walk through me. And so, oh no, you need to make a statement. He's telling me I need to make statements. I need to do this. I need to do that. Now he's my fight manager, and he gets to run Keith Thurman's career, So it was some fun. It was some games. I don't know if it'll manifest into a contract, but I'll be happy to see any real fight contract that's on a whole nother level than the little fight they gave me in Australia. I did that because that's what they gave me. They need me to fight you tomorrow. I'm in there. I'm signing the contract. I got no problem. I'm happy to get back into the sport and do what I love to do. I have a passion that I've had since I'm 7 years old. I want to get to the finish line. For me, that's always been that big 4-0. 39, 40. I want to see what I feel like, what my body feels like. I want to be able to look back and be proud of my career. You asked me personally, in 2019, Keith Thurman was supposed to beat Manny Pacquiao. It was one of those moments in sports where I dropped the ball. Game 7, 3 seconds on the clock. The ball goes up in the air. It hits the rim, and it doesn't go in. I didn't have that great moment that I was leading up to, the build-up as being the undefeated champion and the former unified champion at 147. I tell people, you think Errol Spence was supposed to fight Dennis Ugas in Dallas, Texas, when he could have been fighting Keith Thurman? You forget Errol Spence was supposed to fight Manny Pacquiao. Would he have fought Manny Pacquiao and Keith Thurman beat Manny Pacquiao? No. The world would have got the fight. See, sometimes you get in position. But because I lost to Manny Pacquiao, I put myself out of position. I fell out of the rankings, out of the hype of the limelight, which allowed boxing fights to maneuver a different way. But my intentions as I was coming up was to beat Manny Pacquiao and to have the biggest fight of my generation on this PBC side, which would have been Errol, the true Spence, versus Keith one-time Thurman, undefeated champion versus undefeated champion. After beating a legend, it would have been a modern-day legendary fight. I was building up to that moment. I never got to participate in that moment. And that, sometimes that's life.
Well, Keith, it's a pleasure to see you back. I look forward to an announcement soon and you're back in the ring. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your weekend here in Vegas.
Thank you. Enjoy the fights.